Hello, my fellow weebs and my people out there. Today I would be making a video for all of you. And today's video is gonna be, what if Naruto was the quiet kid? Now, you guys might be asking, what do I mean about the quiet kid? Like, you know those kids on TikTok where they be like, I had enough, and they be pulling out a Glock or AK-47. He's gonna be like that, but he's gonna be much powerful. But he's not gonna be fed up. He's just gonna be depressed. And let me just get into Naruto's backstory. Naruto is a kid that doesn't really do anything to the villagers. Whenever the villagers bullies him, he takes it like a man. He gains his daily dose of beating every day. And I would like to say that I have a script for this. He takes his daily dose of beating every single day. And he doesn't really get mad because he knows that he's a monster. Not because of the Nine Tails, it's because of what he can do. Naruto is from a very special clan, or he's gonna be starting the new generation. This clan allows him to pretty much be the keeper of all dojutsus, even the and he's gonna have a dojutsu that allows him to copy anything, like literally anything, even someone's fighting style, someone's training regiment, anything. And he thinks that he is a monster for that. So, when he one day, like right now, he is seen, like he sees himself as a monster. So he allows the villagers to beat him. And when he goes to a library, for some reason, all the knowledge, when he passes by the library, just goes into his brain. And he collects all the info. And by that, he just sees himself as a monster. And he hasn't tried to kill himself yet. Because he knows that if he would try to kill himself, the Leaf would be losing their greatest asset to the Leaf. And he knows that he doesn't want to do this to the Gramps. So, if I'm being honest, I'm very sorry. So, he's like, I don't want to kill myself. They might get attacked. And this is the same day that, let's say it's the same day that Hinata's getting bullied. And this is where Naruto walks up to the bullies. He says, you can beat me up if you just leave her alone. And no villager in their right mind would say no. So the kids say, yeah, let's go beat him up. Like they do it as a sport. And they start stomping on Naruto, beating him up. And this is where Hinata just looks at him, and Naruto looks at Hinata and just smiles. He gets the urge to smile for some reason. This is where she shortly starts to cry. Because he's like, he just did this so I wouldn't get bullied. This is where she starts running away. The bully says, she's getting away, and this is where Naruto gets up. You can still beat me if you just let her run. This is where a Jonin, their big brother, sees the bad state that Naruto's in and says, well, I guess you beat him up. Naruto looks, I'm gonna go get that brat. And he's like, and he says it again. I'll let you beat me if you don't beat up her. And Naruto is inflicting a lot of pain. A lot. So this is where the Jody start stopping Naruto. The Hokage is watching this, and this is where he calls Hisashi in to rewind. Like, you know that crystal ball? He rewinds everything and shows Hisashi. Because Hisashi thinks that he's a monster as well. And he's showing Hisashi what Naruto's doing for his daughter. The monster that you so-called say. And this is where Hisashi is stunned that Naruto did this for his daughter, even though he participated in beating him. And Naruto's like, why am I even living? This is where he goes home, tends to his wounds, and this is where he hops up in bed. And he starts crying. He's like, I know I'm a monster, but why did it have to be me? Maybe if it was someone else, I'll treat them with respect. But no, I'm the monster. Crying himself to bed. And for your information, yes, I'm crying right now. It's really hard to make this video. And Naruto then falls asleep. And then wakes up in his mindscape. And he sees he's surrounded by a sewer. He says, and he's in front of the gate. And he's facing away from Kurama. He says, I guess the villagers had put me in sewers, huh? Maybe I deserve it. I am a monster after all. This is where Kurama, talking in his head, is feeling bad for him. He noticed what he's doing. Just so he can, because he thinks that he's a monster. And then this is where it says, and this is where this is the full Nine Tails. No, this is the bad Nine Tails, the corrupted. But that Nine Tails actually has feelings. And starting to turn into having a good personality. It says, kid,
I want to know why you hate yourself so much. And he says,
well, it's because I'm a monster.
But I'm inside of you, and I am the monster. Yeah.
And he says, yeah, but I'm a more monster than you. What the village do to me is fair enough. And he's like, this is where Kurama's feeling more empathy for this kid. He sees that his backstory is tragic. And this is the big question that Naruto asks. He asks, where am I? And he says,
well, you're in your mindscape, kid. And this is where I've been sealed inside of you.
telling Naruto all the facts.
So,
And this is what Naruto says. Oh, so you're the presence I found inside my belly. I guess I can't really complain. And this is where he says,
I'm the reason why everybody's calling you a demon.
so he says, everybody would have called me a demon either way. It's not your fault. By the way, it's just mine. You don't gotta lie. He says, how gullible can this kid be? He's like, and then I'm like, and then this is when Naruto wakes up. And he wakes up in his bed, his bed in the water. And then he wakes up to a bear growling. And some villagers are watching to see what he would do to this animal. He gets up and he's kind of scared. And then he starts walking. This is where the bear one of its claws slashes almost rips Naruto's jaw off. But Naruto quickly evaded it to where the bear scratched his eye. And the bear kicks him. And he just goes flying back. Hits the tree, spits up blood. And this is where the bear starts running. This is where Naruto says, and starts running away. And he's using the trees to his advantage to where the bear can't find him. This is where he lands. And starts walking, limping, because the bear got his foot pretty good. And now he's limping away. Slowly, he's like, yeah, I noticed the villagers are out there. Maybe I should just hide my presence. And we can say that Naruto's mid-jonin, high jonin right now. And this is where the fateful day of the academy starts. Naruto says, I guess the academy is starting today. Maybe the other kids will not beat me and just treat me nice for once. And he's like, maybe. But I don't think that's gonna happen either way. This is where he walks into class. Everybody's shooting him hateful glares. And Sasuke just ignoring him. Ignoring his presence. And I see is that everybody looked at him except for Sasuke. So he slowly starts to walk to Sasuke's seat. And this is where Kiba sticks out his foot. This is where Naruto falls. Because right now he's walking up the steps to, did I do something wrong? He's walking up the steps to, Sasuke's seat. This is where he falls. And when he falls, he hits his head hard onto the stairs, like breaking his nose and the blood gushing out. And some of the blood going to his mouth, him spitting it out. And this is where he knew this was gonna happen, so he had some paper towels near him just in case. And he grabs the paper towels, puts some on his face thing, his face, and then he puts the rest of the paper towels and starts wiping the mess. And this is where the whole class is like, ew, Naruto's bleeding. And this is where Sakura has a kunai on her, because her mother gave it to her just in case Naruto shows up. And this is where she throws it at Naruto's back. It's impaling him, and Naruto's being hurt. He's like, and this is where Hinata's watching from afar, or from the seat in the back, because she is shy and she doesn't really talk that much. And this is where and Hinata is kind of horrified about what the class is doing to Naruto. And this is where Sasuke says enough. This is where Sasuke kicks Naruto's face. No, first steps on his face, him hitting his head this time, the same place where he hit the scar, him hitting that same place, and him starting to bleed from the same place. And this is where Sasuke kicks his face up, and Sasuke says, go sit in the back and clean this stuff up. And Itachi just watching from afar, because he wants to see what his brother is doing in class. And he sees how his brother is treating Naruto. Him not really caring about Naruto being in the Naruto's eternity. It's like, oh my god. He can't be my that can't be my brother. Him confused, like, my brother won't do that. And this is where Naruto's like, yes, Sasuke. And Sasuke says, what? I didn't hear you. Master Sasuke. Don't make me say it again. Yes, Master Sasuke. And Naruto starts using the paper towels and cleaning everything and throwing them in the bin before Aruka can walk in. This is where Aruka walks in with a bunch of kunais. And this is where he says, today, we're going to be doing a target practice. Naruto really knows what's going to happen. And this is where Aruka hangs Naruto from his hands and says, today, you're going to be trying to impale Naruto in his stomach. Naruto doesn't have his shirt off, but he's, like, because the seal, he doesn't really have his shirt off. So this is where people are not really missing. People are trying their best to hit Naruto. Some kunais go deeper into Naruto. Like, they're hitting Naruto pretty badly. And no one really cares. They're enjoying it. This is where Naruto's like, and this is where Kurama's like looking. He's like, Naruto puts up with this. He's like, he's getting madder and madder each day by the goes by. He's like, these bastard, they gonna treat my Naruto like this. This is where they're done with target practice. Then they start lessons with wooden sticks. Just because Aruka wants that. And everybody starts hitting Naruto with a wooden stick. With a wooden sword. And they're hitting him. And some of the wooden sticks are giving him blisters. And he's just not even caring. He's like, another day, another painful night. And let's skip all the way to the beginning. Graduation test. Naruto is obviously gonna pass. And Naruto passes the clone test with ease, creating a clone. And right now he's supposed to be at the top of his class, but Iruka doesn't want that to happen. So he puts him at dead last. And nothing really good comes out of it. And just by technicality, Naruto passes. Mitsuki doesn't really get the idea because let's say Mitsuki is not really working for Orochimaru in this. He doesn't really get the idea to tell Naruto to go steal the scroll ceiling. So Naruto doesn't go through that. But he does go through a bad thing. When the class decides to, when the class are being picked, all the Jonin captains are looking out. Because all the Jonin captains are the only people that don't have resentment to Naruto. And this is where they see how badly Naruto's getting treated up. And they see how much blood splattered off of him. And Jonins are horrified. And especially Asuma. Asuma is looking at Shikamaru keeping him in place with a shot of paralysis jutsu. And all that. And this is where all the Jonin captains are just looking how Naruto had to deal with this for such a long time. This is where he says, Master Sasuke, Master Sakura, all masters of my class, would you like anything else? This is when Sasuke throws some cash into Naruto's face. He says, dope, go buy me some ramen. Because he knows that ramen is Naruto's favorite. And he's going to slurp it down in front of Naruto. Because Naruto gets a big salary. Because he's a Chi elite. So he goes to Ichiraku and he says, can I have... Wait, it's already 12. Can I have 11 bowls of large miso starch ramen? And Ichiraku's like, coming right up, Naruto. You see how bloody and bad Naruto is. And Naruto really washed his hands so blood don't get out of this thing. And Naruto starts carrying the food back to Sasuke. And he got an extra bowl for Iruka Sensei with his money. So Iruka Sensei doesn't ask where's his. And he starts walking into class. He starts placing everybody's food in front of them. And he starts feeding everybody in the class. Because that's what he's supposed to do. And Sakura is the only one person not getting fed because she's feeding Sasuke. Because she wanted that. And this is where she's like, Iruka walks in. He's like, looks at all the ramen. He says, Naruto! Where's my ramen? And he says, Master Iruka, it is on the counter. And Naruto says, thank you, Naruto, demon. This is where they're like, Johnny's Captain Squad just looking how much things this kid goes through. And this is where Iruka says, you guys are not gonna like it, but Naruto is gonna be on Naruto. It's gonna be on Sakura, Sasuke, on Team 7. And this is where they hear that Naruto is gonna be on a team with Sasuke. And this is where the class starts. Kiba sends Akamaru to start biting the living shit out of Naruto. starts ripping the literal skin off of him. And Naruto can't do nothing because if he does something, he's gonna be seen as a threat. And he doesn't want that to happen. So, he's like, I guess that can hurt. So they're going straight to Bell's house. They really explain. And Naruto is like, my name is Naruto. Naruto Uzumaki. My goal is, he says I don't have one. My dreams is, I don't have one. Looking at Sasuke. And my aspirations, I don't have one. And let's skip all the way to the next day. Naruto is there, and because he knows Kakashi Sensei was lying about them their food. So Naruto brings food, and just to let you know, Naruto hasn't eaten in 5 months. Because he's just buying Ichiraku ramen to give to other people. And he's like, okay. He's giving out the food that he bought with usually his money to Sasuke and all the other people. This is where Sasuke and Sakura pop up, and they see 2 bento boxes there. And then and this is where Sakura says, "Hey Naruto-kun, not Naruto-kun, hey Naruto, didn't Kakashi said not to eat?" And this is where Naruto says, "Sorry, Master Sakura, but Kakashi Master is gonna be late as always." He starts giving him their background. And he even tells Sasuke about the Sharingan that he possesses from his friend Obito that died. And he tells him that he wants us to use teamwork. Not teamwork. He just wants to see how good we do. And he wants us to be at a weakened state where we can't fight. And then they start eating, and Naruto goes into the woods, and his stomach starts growling. He's trying to hide that away, because he hasn't eaten in 5 years or 5 months. I don't remember what I said. And he walks back, and Naruto's been getting really skinny ever since the last time that we saw him. So he's like, this is where Kakashi says, and this is where Sasuke says, Naruto, be the bait, and if you see it and open it, grab the bells and just kill yourself. And then Naruto says, okay, Master Sasuke. Sasuke just waiting back to see how not to laugh how Naruto gets his ass whooping. But Naruto takes it seriously about Sasuke telling him to go all out against this guy. And this is where Naruto stands in front of them. He says, I would like you to give this Coca-Cola to me. My friend Bakugo wants his drink. And they're like, well, I don't care. This is where Naruto is starting to beat the crap out of Kakashi. This is where he takes the bells, and this is where he stops. Sakura and Sakura not impressed, and they're like, "You need to stop. We hate you." So Naruto is going like, "I have the bells for them. Now they get the pass. Now I get left back." I'm saying, Kakashi says that won't be necessary. I believe you guys will work out a 3-man party.